Greetings, friends. This is Elizabeth Schermer with an intuitive reading for the Virgo full moon, which occurs at, what is the time of the moon? 7:54 a.m. on Tuesday, February 19th, and that's Pacific time. The Virgo full moon is occurring after the Aquarius new moon of 2 weeks ago, which in the astrology system I work with represents the initiation of a new year of potential. So this full moon is activating all the possibilities of this coming year. In the Chinese system, it's called the year of the earth pig or earth boar. It's a year of new possibilities of wealth, of abundant well-being, and of new clarity and determination and activation of creative ways we are going to play and learn and live together. A super special year and a super interesting year. And so this full moon is powerful and unusual. The chart is unusual, and I believe that it is a cosmic connector for us of this time of new potential, a cosmic activator. And so I'm going to be talking a little bit about the astrology chart, and then I'll dive into the intuitive spread. Because before I share the spread, I'd like to share a little bit about what's really unique about this chart, because there's a deep sense of creative activation and change that is very that has a lot of synchronicity attached to it. And so I'd like you to hear a little bit about that signature so that you can understand the practical advice that came through the cards. So first of all, the Virgo full moon, one of the symbols in tarot for the Virgo full moon is the Knight of Discs. And the Knight of Discs is appropriate for this full moon spread because he represents our ability, each of our ability to step into a new level of mastery in the world of health and physical vitality and material well-being and abundance. So this represents qualities of success in the physical world through high levels of mastery, the mastery of new insight, new understanding, and new discernment, and clarity of vision that enables us to fully realize what our purpose is and thrive ourselves while we connect with our purpose. So a mastery aspect of Virgo is what it means to live in service. And the mastery quality is that when we learn to live in service in mastery, then we also receive that mastery for ourselves. So that's why he's a master of health and well-being and abundance, and also what it means to be of service. So hold curiosity yourself for how those qualities of self-care can connect with your vision and determination to find the highest expression yourself of your own joyful purpose in life today, not off in the future, today. Okay, there are also 3 practical cards that are associated with Virgo, and that's the 8, 9, 10 of discs, and they represent different qualities of material well-being and abundance. And so this aspect of wealth I'm emphasizing here today because it comes forth in the chart, it comes forth in our spread, and it's also a specific key signature for the year of the astrology for the year of the pig. What wealth really means and how we can experience and manifest wealth for ourselves and for each other. So some super interesting teachings about wealth and abundance in today's spread for the full moon. Another piece about the chart that I want to share before we dive into the spread is, first of all, I highlighted the natural opposition in a full moon between the sun and the moon. So the sun, the first really strong synchronicity in this chart is that the sun and moon are at one Pisces and one Virgo. They're at the very first minutes of each sign. So there's an activation and initiation in this full moon of a potential of fullness, because the entire sign and all of the richness of those signs is being activated. And so that quality of mastery that's held in both Virgo and Pisces is being activated. Mastery of physical well-being, Virgo, and mastery of emotional well-being of Pisces. Okay. Then the other super interesting and amazing activation is a conjunction. Right next to each other are Mars and Uranus, and they are in trines and sextiles, which are harmonious aspects to both the sun and the moon. So there's when Mars and Uranus come together, there is a huge activation of change, and yet that change has the potential to be super harmonious and to create a lot of synchronicities and come into form. The form that is created is up to us. The activations will lead to natural manifestation, and the quality of manifestation and what is created is up to us and how we show up for those changes and potentials. So for those of you who work with cards, I'm going to show the cards that go with Mars and Uranus because it is super significant for the message that comes forward in our spread too. So the tarot card for Mars is the Tower, representing the force of change. Mars is the planet of activity and action and dynamic change, willpower, and the inspiration to move forward in life. It drives change. And I'm going to speak to the shadow here because the shadow name for Mars is the god of war. That is a shadow. War is a shadow aspect of the dynamic aspect of change of Mars. So one of the teachings that we work with the Tower is to celebrate the qualities of change and how change can appear to be destructive, but that is only a narrow perspective of the overriding forces of growth. Every change that happens is in some form a destruction. When we learn to work with change and trust processes of change, then we can more consciously participate in larger perspectives, which is the Eye of Horus at the top. So Mars is conjunct. So Mars, the planet of change and action, and there's another, and courage. There's a quality of courage also associated with Mars, is paired with Uranus, which is the planet of revolution and intuition, and another quality of change, of transformation, and letting go of the past in order for new possibilities to be born. And in the deck, that's represented by the Fool, pure potential, pure initiation. So in the teachings of Dane Rudhyar of in astrology, these planets have a special partnership, and when they work together, all the potentials of Uranus for transcending the past and creating something new, Mars fuels those. And so they're already naturally work together. When they're conjunct, there is a guarantee of the potential for transformation and transformative change. So be prepared in the coming days to feel an infusion of possibility, and you may also experience it in your circumstances. Know that from the chart, there is a strong signature of harmony with this quality of potential, like volatility of even unexpected things to happen, but it's working in harmony with that infusion of new possibilities for new levels of mastery, and for us to join together in new ways to create together new qualities of community, new qualities of health, and a signature of wealth. The punchline here is that the signature of Mars, the Sabian symbol for Mars, is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And what that means, it's making me feel emotional right now, is wealth and abundance that come from the ability to bridge. It's really making me emotional because I feel the truth of this signature. This is interesting. I've been sitting with this all day. And so what's coming through from Spirit right now for all of you watching this message is not to be afraid of creativity that is expressed through change. because this signature very much, there's no accident that I got emotional in that moment, because the signature that's being activated is fortunate change. And the specific teaching of the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is our ability to bridge spirit and physical manifestation, and a new understanding of what wealth means. And that wealth is the experience, the manifest experience of wealth that comes from within. So that's the real teaching of the wealth card in the deck, is that true wealth is a flow that comes from our experience of inner wealth, and then it's manifest in the world, and it flows when we offer and give and share our wealth. Then it creates more wealth. So that was interesting. Okay. The signature of wealth is absolutely being activated through an infusion of new possibility. Okay, so now let's dive into the spread. So the first card I'm going to show, this I have the Knight of Discs here hiding. The first card I'm going to show is the punchline. The fourth card I drew in the spread was the wealth card. This is a complete affirmation of the possibility for us to learn new understandings of what it means to live from inner wealth and inner truth. If you work with astrology, the astrology of this card is Mercury in Virgo. Mercury rules Virgo, and so this is a high level in the mind of the understanding of what wealth means, and what consciousness of wealth, how consciousness of wealth leads to the manifestation of material well-being. And this happens in community with others, which is part of this, with the really strong signature of this moon. Okay, so the punchline was the fourth card was the wealth card, and then the first card in the spread in the position of awareness and mind and awareness is the mastery card for Pisces, which is the Knight of Cups. So in this full moon, the Knight of Discs is paired with the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Discs is the moon, the Knight of Cups is the sun. And so this is a strong message for you to stay in your heart, and an affirmation that you are indeed on your path of purpose right now. The Knight of Cups is has attained the Holy Grail, which represents your bliss, your purpose, and the fact that your quest for your purpose in life is from your heart. It's the attainment of your heart's desire. And so be willing to feel deeply right now, and trust the calling of your heart, and trust that your heart is leading you toward higher visions of possibility. One of the teachings of the Knight of Cups is the ability to surrender ourself, and this was from the new moon 2 weeks ago too, to surrender limiting ideas of ourself in order to expand into something greater. And so that's a big part of what we're receiving right now, is to trust in the letting go of old small visions of what's possible and old patterns. We've crossed into a new threshold. So trust that what is happening is new, and that you are indeed anchoring new possibilities. And that is emphasized in the card in position of circumstances, which is death. And this is an absolute exclamation point, not physical death, positive change of the relationship that we just talked about a minute ago, of fortunate change and blessing. So in this position, in this spread, the death card is representing our ability to embrace change, and to love change, and to trust change, and to dance with it. In this painting, and if you're familiar with this deck, you know this well, the painting is of Osiris. This represents Osiris, our risen self, dancing on the bottom of the ocean, dancing in the depths, preparing for rebirth. It's a celebration and a joy of new creation, metamorphosis, the imaginal cells within the caterpillar's chrysalis that are preparing to emerge as a butterfly. So Know that in the reflection of your circumstances, you can trust the celebration of change, even if you're not sure what the new forms will be. Stay in your heart and you will feel the truth. And that's emphasized in the position of spirit, which is the Seven of Discs card reversed. So this Seven of Discs is called failure, meaning fear of failure. There is a release right now of old patterns of us being afraid when things appear not to be going well, when the unexpected happens and we think something's gone wrong. The teaching, 7 is the number of life. And so the teaching of the Seven of Discs is of fear of failure or appearance of failure is a process of growth and birth. So this is mirroring perfectly the Death card in that the release of the fear of failure means that we are available now to allow new seeds to germinate and to participate in the germination. Each of these represents a seed germinating and breaking open for something new to be built and created. And the Seven of Discs leads to the Eight of Discs, which I showed as one of the cards of Virgo, which is the flowering of new possibilities. So all the changes that are happening right now are seeds germinating that will be growing now this year and flowering into new possibilities and new potentials that are beautiful and fortunate. Whew. What a time. And thank you for being present and receiving this message, because it is big and it's also simple, because it just happens in the moment, and it's about us trusting the feeling that there is a new possibility. We are not recreating the past when things seem to be going wrong or when a pattern emerges. Trust that you are in a new place and you can approach this from a new perspective, from new discernment, from new discrimination, and you can show up in new ways and make new choices and anchor new patterns and new creations. I'm going to show one more thing because an extra card fell out of the deck. When I pulled the Wealth card, the card for stress also came up reversed. So allow yourself, 5 of Wands, strife is just approaching circumstances of change with stress. And so this also came up reversed. So allow yourself to release patterns of stress, and remember that wealth begins from inner supply and from trust. And use the tools that you have, including relying on each other and your trusted grids of support, to affirm and validate for each other the wealth that you already have and the wealth that you trust that is that we are creating in abundance for ourselves and for our world. So have a wonderful full moon and a great anchoring of the next step of our new year together. And so if you are curious to learn more specifics about the chart, you can visit seattleastrology.org. And if you're in the Seattle area, I'll be giving Year of the Pig talks for this really powerful year of 2019 here in Seattle on this Thursday, February 21st, and next Monday, February 25th. At the Seattle Sound Temple, and you can find out more about that and get your tickets at alchemymysteryschool.com. So happy full moon, and I'll see you again soon.